And that's not, again, the same thing with CD Junior. He's only winning with the tools he has now. I'm never going to knock someone with winning with. I'm not going to say, hey, you don't use your tools, bitch. You know, use what you have and win if you can. But I mean, there are some things that are gonna change again, and I think really that, it's just so hard. It's going to be really hard to grasp who really is the best or the absolute top of the line until the game is absolutely done, being changed, and until we have some significant time. First, if we can't even do a matchup chart again, I find it hard to believe that we don't have enough character knowledge in matchups to do a matchup chart. How can we really crown a best when, in reality, people could just be losing because they don't know certain matchups? I mean, obviously, not every matchup is known. Otherwise, we'd have no problem having a set-in-stone tier list. There would be no argument, and we would know exactly who wins every match and why. We don't even know that, so it's kind of hard to crown a best player when information is not where it needs to be.
Well, the thing about that matchup chart is I don't think our community is big enough, and we're too spread out.
Very true.
Like, look at the top katana players. We all, I certainly cannot talk about every matchup. I doubt Conqueror could talk about it. He doesn't travel enough. None of us do. You're the one guy that fucking somehow goes to every fucking tournament.
And I'll tell you this, I've even said, even as Sub-Zero, and this is why I laugh when the subject of the character comes up, but I always say, I've traveled more than anyone else, and I've played almost every version of every top player as far as the character goes. And I'll say, even I will say, I don't have enough experience to do a matchup chart for versus every character. It's just not enough experience, And I can't just play somebody one time and say, oh, that's the match. What if he had a bad day? What if he wasn't familiar with the match? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
It's so, and it's also much harder. The way many people have said there's only one real Sub-Zero out there, and that's come from several people. So it's possible that that person is not familiar with the match in this manner. So it's like, okay, well, we played a first to whatever, but he's not familiar with the match, so I can't. It's just there's so many factors that go into it, and I don't think our community is qualified right now to do a matchup chart. So I definitely agree with your point.
Yeah, and the game is still changing. I change my mind constantly. A lot of Katana players think Melina is a bad match for Katana, and a month ago I would agree, and I'm starting to think it's even. I think Reptile versus Katana, you might be able to make an argument that it's even, and that's considered one of her worst. I mean, everyone's heard me bitch about it. This game is very no way we can do a matchup chart at this time.
No, because at the same time, you would need extensive. It's just so funny. I was talking to Jago last night, and he was asking who the top character was, and I asked PL, and PL believes, no order, Raiden, Kung Lao, but he put Sub-Zero in there, And as I mentioned it, Jago goes, yay, Sub-Zero, and I go, well, let me just give you a little side note on this character. This character takes extensive experience. In other words, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th time you fight a Cabal, Katana, whatever, you're going to lose. I don't care how many times. That's how much experience it takes. And the same thing can be for Katana. It could be even. It could be a bad matchup. Maybe she can find a way to win it. But how much experience does 16-bit offline play not one reptile, but all the top reptiles? No, he doesn't have that case, so how can he sit there and come up with a way? So it's constantly in flux. Like he said, one day he might think it's even, tomorrow he might think he found something that has it, but then he might play a different reptile player and say, oh, fuck, I thought this was the way, but now this guy is doing this. So it's really so hard to get a set-in-stone matchup chart when everything is constantly in flux. And our community is not as big as like a Capcom community, like Street Fighter and stuff. So and our online is not as good, which hurts. I was watching PL play UMVC last night, and he was playing the game like it was nothing. I'm watching him hit the buttons on his stick, and the movers are coming out on the screen as if he's playing somebody sitting right in front of me. We don't have that. I think that really, really helps the Capcom community is because they have a playable online in both Street Fighter and Marvel. We don't have anything remotely like that. Who we choose to play directly is on our connection, and even a good connection is still kind of bad, but it's doable for us to get what kind of practice we can out of it. So it's very difficult to really put things together in this game, which is why I think the evolution of the game has come along a lot slower than it should have.
Yeah.
Hey guys, hold on a second. I'm gonna try to get Slips in here.
I should be in here.
He's in here. We have
there he
fucking
is.
running. Oh my god.
All right, guys.
What is he doing here?
Slips, you're way too fucking loud, bro.
Oh, alright, hold on.
This fucking super microphone.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Let me know if it gets softer.
That's what she said. Okay, it looks like Slips has just joined us, ladies and gentlemen.
He just
What up?
teleported in.
Yeah, he did.
I did a just frame teleport.
The Whore Master is with us. Okay, now, Tom, you've made quite a name for yourself in Mortal Kombat and the fighting game scene in general. Tell us a little bit about your history in the scene, and were you into the arcade scene back in the day?
Yeah, I played arcade games back starting in Street Fighter 2, really.
Yeah.
Like the original Street Fighter 2, World Warrior. I was a Guile player, and I was a God, what was I? I was a fucking kid. I mean, I had no concept of right, wrong, fair, or unfair. So back then, I just thought I was good. I just didn't realize that nobody else in my arcade could pick Guile. I had, I didn't really put two and two together at that age. And the only reason why I picked Guile was my first arcade game. You know how the arcade games have the commands on the screen, and I'm on a stick, and I'm just like forward, down, down, forward. Fuck, I can't do that. And I look at Guile, and I was like back forward. Yeah, I can do back forward. So that's why I started, and I guess my tear whoring ways started in Street Fighter 2.
Very cool.
So,
Man,
Now-
that game was broke.
dude, that game was awesome. What are you talking about, 16?
Handcuffs.
Now, Tom, I hear you're quite the Killer Instinct player.
Killer Instinct. Guys like Saber are definitely better than me in KI1. KI2 was probably when I was really like killing people for the 6 months the game lived. But during those 6 months, I was quite a force of KI2. I think KI2 died faster than any arcade game I've ever seen in my entire life. When it first came out, it was so much competition, and then it was kind of fucked up. Like, you have KI1 that is frustrating to play because you have characters like Cinder that are basically like a giant unblockable machine. Even where you know what he's going to do, you just can't block it. So that game is so frustrating at certain times. But then you play KI2, which is so universal and so bland and so not buggy and glitchy that you still hate it. So either way, it's like you can't win.
Now, who was your main in Killer Instinct?
Killer Instinct 2 was Saberwolf and Glacius, and Killer Instinct 1 I used Orchid, and Cinder.
Awesome.
Man, I love both those games.
Yeah, who did you main 16-bit?
I played as Orchid in part 1, and in part 2 I played as Maya.
Oh, Maya, she was good, man.
Yeah, she was tight.
Yeah,
I really liked KI2. I think it's really underrated.
Yeah, I liked it.
Is that game any good? KI2?
The problem is, like, everything is safe, like combo openers, super openers, all that stuff are totally safe. So it comes down to an RPS system as what beats what, and like you can do like poke to opener or like low poke to opener, overhead to opener, but you can still, even if you block the overhead or the low poke, still beat their opener with your opener, even though you just blocked the normal. Stuff like uppercut attacks have no landing recovery, so all you do is hit them airborne. So it's got its stuff, but it's got its other stuff, so.
I mean, I didn't play it at a competitive level, but I thought the new characters, except Kim Woo was lame, but like Tusk was tight, the music was tight.
Oh, Tusk was awesome, yeah. Tusk.
I heard you could like turtle all day, like you could see everything.
That's part
Let's not, yeah, it's part 1 you can turtle. Part 2 you couldn't really see. It was, like I said, it was a guessing system. It was RPS when it comes to like openers and stuff. And,
Okay.
it was fun for a little bit, but the problem is just the ease of the combo breakers kind of threw people off because it's basically punch breaks, kick breaks, punch. So the first day the games come out, you have total idiots breaking every combo you do. They don't know anything about the game, they're just guessing properly. And it's too easy to guess because it's just, A beats B, B beats A. And so, the Unbreakables, were pretty much opener ender, that kind of stuff. And then you had to build your enders up. It was just something. They put in something stupid just for ultras, but it ended up affecting the damage in the game system, and it was dumb. It was good in some ways, and it was bad in some others.
Unfortunately, it kind of killed the series.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
did.
I always said if they ever made a Killer Instinct 3,